I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Troy School Board of Education for the Troy City School District. Please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Mr. Price.
Mrs. Beamish.
Here.
Mr. Hefner. Mr. Lucas.
Here.
Mrs. Reeves.
Here.
Mr. Trossel.
We have a quorum. I understand that there's a change on the agenda. That
Yes,
you
there
would like
is.
to discuss.
With the lack of not having at least 4 board members here, we cannot act on item C, the resolution determining to proceed to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation. So we'll be pulling that from the agenda. Just like to remind everybody that we anticipate having a meeting at some point before the deadline to file that with the Board of Elections prior to 4 o'clock on February 4th. This is a levy that is due to expire at the end of calendar year 2015. It's a 5-year operating levy, 5.9 mils. The effective rate of that is 3.8112, and it generates about $2.8 million, a little over that, on an annual basis. And like I mentioned earlier, we'll be scheduling a special meeting to conduct that action at some point between now and February 4th.
Okay.
That's important to our
Important part of
operations.
the business,
So,
yes. All right, thank you. All right, since this is our first meeting of the new year, Happy New Year to everyone. First item on our agenda is the election of a president for 2015. I would entertain a nomination for a president. Any nominations at this time?
I would like to nominate Doug Trussell.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, roll call, please.
do we have a second?
I will second. We need a second.
Okay. Mrs. Reeves.
Yes.
Mrs. Beamish.
Yes.
Mr. Lucas.
Yes. Since Mr. Trossel is not here, we'll continue with me acting as the pro tem president. Next item on our agenda is to elect a vice president. I would entertain a nomination for vice president.
I nominate Mr. Hefner.
Are there any other nominations? Second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Beamish.
Yes.
Mrs. Reeves.
Yes.
Mr. Lucas.
Yes. So we will swear them in at our next meeting.
Next meeting, yes.
Okay. Also, we have the meeting dates for our regular meetings here in 2015. It's in our packet as Exhibit A. I would entertain a motion to accept the dates as
You have,
listed.
you also, in your project, you have a revised, that has dates on it, the correct dates. You have some
Okay.
incorrect dates on the first one.
Okay.
So the loose one I put by you. Okay. That replaces your exhibit A.
So that December meeting changed, is that what it was? Or- Sorry?
September and December both.
September 14th and December 12th.
Mm.
So I've already got these in. We have a motion and a second?
I would move to approve the new Exhibit A.
Second.
All right, so roll call, please.
Mrs. Reeves.
Yes.
Mrs. Beamish.
Yes.
Mr. Lucas.
Yes. Next is the board committee appointments in our packet, listed as Exhibit B. We've had an opportunity to discuss these. I would entertain a motion to accept the board committee appointments as listed in Exhibit B.
So move.
Well, I second, but in my Exhibit B, they're not on there. for 2015. So we're just moving all of the 2014 over to 2015 and keeping them the same. Is that what your motion is?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Then I second that motion.
Yeah, and we discussed that a little bit, so sorry for that confusion there, but yes, we looking to keep them consistent.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Beamish?
Yes.
Mrs. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes. This brings us to the regular part of our agenda. We have 3 presentations today. Mr. Herman, if you would like to introduce the presenters.
Mr. Moore, you want to go and raise the top, please?
Yes.
Good evening. Our last Race to the Top meeting was December 11th, 2014. Seems like a long time ago. At that meeting, we discussed the final year of the Race to the Top grant, including the budget, our utilization of technology, including the additional technology that had been purchased, and also its implementation out in the buildings. And we spent time talking about OTAS and the Ohio Learning Standards. We're working to make sure that we get the most value out of the remaining grant funds as it wraps up in the end of this school year. We also spent time reviewing and approving SLO documents that have been submitted by teachers. We are seeing teachers getting much more comfortable and feeling much stronger in the ability to complete the SLO documents this year in year 2 of asking them to do that. Grade level teams are still in the process of meeting to review curriculum and how it aligns with the Ohio Learning Standards in preparation for testing, which is right around the corner. And what we spent the most time recently working on is PARC, the testing consortium that's creating the test in English Language Arts and Math, have produced the test administrator manuals, which is the guide, which includes the scripts for the test administrators to explain the process that kids are going through as they complete the test. We've been hitting those pretty hard, trying to study those as much as possible so that we are prepared when the time comes. Principals and teachers in buildings are poring over the test schedules, making sure that we, one, capture every student in every class, and also that we are aware of the needs of our students as we complete those test schedules to accommodate any special needs that we have with students in our buildings. We will meet again on January 15th, which is later this week, with the Race to the Top team, continuing to work in collaboration with our staff members on that team and the staff members in the buildings to prepare for the big moment of testing and also continue to prepare our students with the Ohio Learning Standards and any questions that may come up with SLOs or the OTES process. Any questions from the group? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next, this month is the School Board Recognition Month. That's done statewide. Just so happens there's 3 of you here tonight, but that's a good thing. Part of this, and it's truthful, we have a very, very fortunate, we're here in Troy, that we have a good relationship with our board and work extremely well. I mean, if you've paid attention to the news, you've seen some of those boards that hasn't been that well. Ours, I think we get along extremely well and we get things done. We stay on top of things, you listen, you read all the materials, you're very supportive, and it's that kind of activity you don't get a lot. I'd just like to thank all of you for it, as we all would. We went through a lot of things over the years, and we've come out pretty good shape. And I think Troy City Schools is fortunate and we're strong because of the people we have working for it and the people that are like yourself that put in all the time. I don't think people understand all the time that you put in and the extra meetings and special meetings that you go to that maybe aren't in the press and don't get covered a lot, but I truly appreciate it. I know I talked to a lot of you during the week, or emails are going on, so I appreciate everything. What they've done is they've done a little certificate for you. I'm sure this would be good for you. You can put this, I don't know where. Congratulations, thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs.
Thank
Beach.
you. Thank you.
Again, we'd like to thank you. It's very, very important to have that relationship because there's so much going on in the state right now. And we need your support. I need you asking questions as what we're doing. So thank you very much. It's not a whole lot, but it's a thank you very much, I appreciate it.
I think, you know, we have this every year in January, they have this recognition, and although it's a small thing, it's good to be recognized for you to, you know, say thank you, because we certainly enjoy what we do and working with you and the staff, and certainly appreciate you saying thanks to us.
Thank you very much. The next policy that we're gonna talk to you about is this is a policy that we're anticipating that we're gonna do. I believe you have one of these in front of you.
Second.
And it's cell phone usage. Basically, right now, we own cell phones, and some of our staff have those. But basically, what this policy is doing is taking us out of cell phone ownership. We're gonna pay a stipend for people to use their own cell phone. It'll be a select few, it won't be very many, but I believe Cincinnati Bell is selling out to Verizon, and I believe our service is gonna be ended at the end of February, so we needed to do something to offset that, and it's something we've been talking about doing. And in essence, they'll get so much money per month to go against their bill, but in that way they'll use their cell phone, we won't have to be cell phone owners anymore, we can get out from underneath that. Because what happens to us many times, we buy a lot of cell phones, get lost, broke, etc. So in this way, we won't have to keep track of those as well. And it's good motivation, because it does pay a decent amount on their bill, so it's good motivation to use their phone as well.
Do you have, those that receive the cell phones, do they have a personal cell phone and a school cell phone, and how will that work?
Many times they carry their personal cell phone and have a school cell phone. By going to this, the school cell phone will be gone, and they'll carry their personal cell phone, and we'll just use that one and the same. I don't think anyone would object to that. The people I've talked to on staff think it's a fine idea, and they really don't want to carry two cell phones, but that's what they do now. So they'd be happy to reduce down to one.
Is there any concerns with, you know, the data connecting to our networks, and any type of viruses or anything coming into our networks by?
No, not really. I mean, anything's possible. We've been using our own cell phones for quite some time now on the network. I mean, I use my own cell phone as well. I haven't used a school cell phone since I've been since I've been in Troy School. I use my own. No, not that I'm aware of, Steve. We've not had any problems with that. Because any emails or anything are going through our system, which is protected.
Yeah, and I guess that was a part of the question as well. So, you know, I don't know how your cell phones work right now, but, you know, obviously many of us have our personal emails as well as our school email. So do we currently allow personal emails to be on the cell phones with the school cell phones right now?
They're supposed to be for business only, but
Okay, so that's gonna mix, okay. So
there's gonna be a mix. But it's really no different than like my cell phone or Mr. Price's cell phone. We have that going on now. It's just a matter, it's an education process, you know, it's your work phone when you're at work,
Right.
but you're not to use it for personal.
Yeah, I understand it, it makes sense, but, you know, there's some clear things that, you know, when you have a personal phone versus a business phone, and, you know, when you're using it as both, it's gotta be, you know, all the data and pictures and all the, you know, we're all professionals, but I think all those things have to be understood that when it's used for business, it's gotta be
Absolutely.
business appropriate.
Yeah, we have some conversations, training to do on this. But quite honestly, this is what a lot of folks have went to. So this is not.
But a lot of what you're talking about is if you sync the phone to the email or to the calendar or something like that. In some cases, the cell phone is just a cell phone. And there's not there might be some texting, but there's not an email being transferred. Right, but if there is, I think your concerns are valid.
Whatever's synced, the syncing goes
Whatever is
through
synced, yeah,
the district.
goes through the district
Protective.
network, yeah,
Right, okay.
right.
You said there'd just be a few about,
A few, like 5 or 6.
okay, that's a few.
Yeah, we want to reduce it down to people that definitely need the service. Because a lot of us, for example, myself, Mrs. Stout, Mr. Price, we use our phones all the time, and
Yeah.
and it's just, we use them both ways, so we don't charge that back or anything. We just, the only time like for my cell phone, when we had Mumford and Sons in here, I mean, it blew my phone up. I mean, it was like 3 or 4 times my normal bill. But for the most part, most of our services anymore cover the usage. There's
Right,
more than enough in the
right,
services.
Okay.
And that's it.
So we'll see this on,
You'll see it more polished up, and you'll see it again in the board notes to you, and then the February we'll look at for approval.
Okay.
So give you time to read it and look through it.
is that it? Any other
That's it.
presentation?
That's all we have.
Okay, this brings us to our first hearing of the public. If anyone in the audience wishes to address the board regarding anything on the agenda, please stand and state your name and let us know what you'd like to talk about. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the treasurer's report. First item on the treasurer's report is the consideration of approval of minutes from our last regular meeting on Monday, December 8th, 2014. In our packet as Exhibit C, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
So moved.
Second?
Any questions, changes? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Reeves?
Yes.
Mrs. Beamish?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes. Next on the agenda is our financial report. Our monthly reports respectively attached as Exhibit D, which includes the December 2014 SM2, the monthly total revenue, monthly total expenditure, monthly ending balance, schedule of revenue, expenditures, and changes in fund balances, 5-year forecast, appropriation account summary, and the investment schedule. Would entertain a motion to approve those schedules.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Price, will give you an opportunity to,
Just to highlight the SM2 a little bit, we are still tracking well for the fiscal year. We're just shy of about $300,000 to the good, so that's good news. That track is still on for the fiscal year. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
okay. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Beamish?
Yes.
Mrs. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes. As we mentioned earlier, we will not go into the levy. We'll talk about that in our next meeting. Next on our agenda is we have then and now. We have several then and now according to Ohio Revised Code 5705.41. If prior certification of funds by the treasurer was not obtained prior to an order or a contract, then the treasurer has the ability to certify. This has happened just as long as the funds were available at the time that the order was made and that they are still available. We have several of these on our agenda. I would entertain a motion to retroactively approve these purchase orders.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Price, any discussions on these?
Three of them pertain to athletics. B&D, portable toilet, the BOE sales, and the Upper Valley Medical Center. The Upper Valley Medical Center is for extra athletic trainer services over and above our contracted hourly for the fall sports time frame.
Any questions, comments from the board?
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Reeves?
Yes.
Mrs. Beamish?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes. That concludes the treasurer's report. We will move on to the superintendent report. First thing on the superintendent report is a resolution accepting the gifts to the Troy School District and expressing our thanks. And I would entertain a motion to accept the gifts and donations donated to the Troy School Board of Education.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Herman?
A lot of gifts this month. $44,105.56.
It's a big month.
big month,
Yes.
and a lot of, if you look at it, is Van Cleve trip. We've got a variety going on. We've got a gift from the class of, Troy High School class of 1948 toward a charging cart. $23,000 donation from ConAgra. Troy Foundation, if you look through there, they're in there 3 or 4 times for probably close to $9,000-10,000. So there's a wide variety. We've got on the very first page, we have some mittens, gloves from the church, Presbyterian Church in town. So again, it's another big month, a wide variety. People in Troy support their schools, and it's incredible every month. Right now, we're $285,816.
Wow.
And go ahead.
There's a wide variety of things on there, though. But I think the Van Cleve trip's probably leading the group.
I think that we recognize as a board that without these gifts, our schools would be impacted adversely, adversely by this. So we certainly appreciate the gifts that we have received. Any questions from the board? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Beamish?
Yes.
Mrs. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes. Next on the superintendent report is transportation policies. The administration is requesting that the board transportation policies below be approved. There are 3 of them, 3 policies: EEA, which is a student transportation services; EEAA, which is eligibility zones for pupil transportation; and then EEAC, which is a school bus safety program. Would entertain a motion to approve those policies.
So moved.
Second.
The only thing that's a little different about this is these policies will not become effective to July. Most of the things that are in those policies have already occurred for this year. So there'd be no reason to put them in place right now, but they'll be ready to go July, which is okay as well. The school bus safety program, obviously we've already run our students through the safety program, so that's why you see the July 1st date on.
Thanks for the clarification. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Reeves?
Yes.
Mrs. Beamish?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes. Next on our agenda is the personnel items in our packet as Exhibit F for January 2015. Would entertain a motion to approve the personnel items.
So move.
Second?
Stout, anything that's not routine here?
No, not at all. Small one.
Okay. All right. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Beamish?
Yes.
Mrs. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes. This brings us to the second hearing of the public. If anybody in the audience wishes to address the board on a matter that is not on the agenda, please stand and state your name and let us know what you'd like to discuss. Okay, before we adjourn, there's a big game tonight.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. I've got a prediction, so I want to make sure that I let them know what my prediction is. I say the Bucks will win 45-35, so let's put that there. So by the time it's seen on TV, we'll see the results. All right. But we thank everyone for coming out this evening. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Reeves?
Yes.
Mrs. Beamish?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.